Norfolk is a county in East Anglia, England, which is known for its beautiful beaches and seaside towns. As beautiful as the beaches are, it is easy to forget that the Norfolk coastline is also full of hidden treasures that tell of the rich story of the medieval period and even further back in history. In this video today, I would like to take you on a tour to some of my personal favourite ruins along the North Norfolk coastline that you may have never known even existed. We will begin our journey at one of the most breathtaking stretches of Norfolk Beach, the sleepy village of Stiff Key. I have actually travelled through Stiff Key on multiple occasions and never knew this giant ruin existed. It was only by chance that I was on a cycle ride and visited the local parish church, where I noticed a curious turret in the background. Looking over the church wall, I was met with a giant castle that didn't appear labelled on any maps I had seen, and was almost completely hidden from sight unless you were standing right in front of it. These are the ruins of Stiff Key Hall, formerly a medieval castle. The ruins we see today are of an Elizabethan stately home, but has roots as a medieval castle, a Saxon farmstead, possibly a previous Roman settlement, and even has evidence for earlier Iron Age activity. The hall is still lived in, and the ruins sit on private land, so it is not accessible, but standing in the church courtyard is enough to see the extent of the medieval hall, which was built in a classic U-shape with a courtyard in the middle. It is said that the hall was originally intended to be fully enclosed with 4 wings, with the eastern wing eventually falling into disrepair and was later demolished to pay for the much needed repairs to the north and western wings. Stiff Key Hall is also nearby a monastic giant, none other than Binham Priory. However, this site will be the focus for a dedicated video due to the extent of the ruins and the rich history it holds. A short 5-minute drive will take you to another popular seaside village named Blakeney. This place is famed for its nature reserve, where nature lovers come from all over the country and further afield to witness the huge variety of migrating birds which make their home in the marshes, not to mention the seals out at Blakeney Point. This idyllic seaside spot holds a secret insight into the life of medieval Norfolk. If you've watched my video about the lost city of Dunwich, you'll know that East Anglia was the medieval powerhouse for trade, with a plethora of coastal ports trading with countries all over the known world. The people of medieval East Anglia would have witnessed many weird and wonderful items being brought back from far and wide. Blakeney still has the remnants of a medieval merchant's house, complete with a vaulted stone undercroft which would have stored expensive and rare items from as far away as countries in the Middle East and even India. Although not much remains of this merchant's house, which would have been once filled with riches, it is still a key insight into the lives and capabilities of medieval traders whose achievements are often overlooked in history. A stone's throw from the famous seaside town of Cromer, here in a sleepy village which hugs the winding coastal road of North Norfolk, stands the ruins of Weybourne Priory. This beautiful twin-towered ruin began life as a Saxon church, with some of the original Saxon blind arcading still being seen at the top of a ruinous belfry tower. The triangular pointed arches in the middle were originally windows which let out the sound of the tower bells to be heard all across the northern Norfolk coastline. However, these were patched up with stone and render during the Norman period and made into blind arcading once the second, taller tower was constructed. Weybourne Church was greatly developed in the 13th century when an Augustinian priory was founded. The Augustinian canons had come from the nearby parish of Westacre. Further expansions in the 14th and 15th century saw the construction of the cloisters, as well as many monastic buildings such as a chapter house, brew house and refectory. Despite its appearance, the crenellated wall you can see here is not actually a wall topped with battlements, but these are the ruins of second floor windows which would have been just under the roofline, allowing light to shine down into the choir. This truly gives a grand scale of the priory in its heyday. For lovers of more modern history, you'll be happy to know that Weybourne Priory is just a 5-minute walk from Muckleborough Military Museum, which hosts a variety of tanks, giant guns, and, if you're lucky enough, you could see the Osprey helicopters take off from the nearby field during exercise. The final site we will visit today, again just a short 5-minute journey along the coast heading east, we will arrive at Sheringham, which is popular for the various ancient artefacts which helped cast a light on the long-lost landmass of Doggerland before 8000 BC, woolly mammoth findings, the settling of the Vikings, and, rather oddly, being the first area in the UK to be bombed by the Zeppelin raids of World War I. However, this seaside town holds another secret historic site, hidden almost unnoticed even as you drive right past it along the coastal road. These are the ruins of Beeston Regis Priory. A gorgeous example of flint architecture, Beeston Regis Priory was one of the bigger monastic players in medieval Norfolk. This may have been because, unlike many other religious buildings in England, the Priory of St Mary in the Meadow was independent. A rather curious religious house, as this priory had a record of severe unruliness, bodging of the books, and downright violence. In 1317, a canon of the priory named John de Walsum reportedly attacked the Bishop of Norwich with a sword, causing him to be sent to Rome and ordered to pay penance for his actions. In 1494, another Bishop of Norwich visited the priory and found that only one canon was present, with the other, named Thomas Taverner, apparently being absent without leave. This led to the bishop ordering that 2 new canons should be placed in the priory. A further visit 20 years later saw that the canon Thomas Taverner was still on the books, and was still absent without leave. Not only this, but the prior refused to show the priory's account records, which led to suspicions that the monastic house of Beeston Regis was claiming false tax expenses, while also not fulfilling the roles that was demanded of it. Despite this, another bishop's visit in 1532 found the finances of the priory now to be in good order and acknowledged that the general practices of Beeston Regis Priory had improved. This newfound order of Beeston Regis Priory was, however, short-lived, as in 1538 the priory fell victim to the dissolution of the monasteries, which also led to the school of Beeston Regis being closed down with no educational alternative. This is said to have been the reason why Sir John Gresham founded the nearby Gresham School, which continues today as a particularly posh establishment. So this is where we end our journey along the North Norfolk coast. Despite only travelling merely 15 miles, we have visited 5 beautiful medieval ruins, each with their own story and their own perspective on daily life in medieval England. We've looked at the ruins of a giant hall, fit for a lord. We've seen the undercroft of a merchant's house, the owner of which could have travelled further than most of us in the modern world have done today. We've witnessed various religious communities, who most likely drew the maps that the traders used to navigate the seas of Europe from the Norfolk coasts. They may have even stitched the tapestries, using fabrics brought back from the sea-bearing traders, that the owners of Stiffkey Manor held up in their great hall. The ideal stopping point for this trip would be the stunning seaside town of Cromer, where you'll be just in time for some fish and chips on the pier, followed by a pint in the King's Head. If you liked this tour of the Norfolk coast, I'd be happy to create more videos like this where I pick some of the best historic sites all within a small area. And, of course, if you do this journey, please let me know by messaging me on Instagram, as I'd love to hear which place was your favourite. For now, thanks for watching.